You must extinguish this fear of failure and embrace it.
Wow!
This one is like driving
what? Indonesian people living in Africa?
Society is totally wrong. Why do they go to school?
The universal power to touch your soul.
My internet friends are my real friends.
The worst possible thing you can do in an accident.
What is body language?
What is home? Just listen.
Check. I was raised by two extremely competitive parents. My mom, who cheats on board games and rubs the win in your face, and my dad, who puts in 100% effort towards winning, even when the teams mainly consist of 10-year-olds. I can make a huge list of examples that influence me to nurture this extremely competitive mentality, which is why I'm now a teenager that wants to win in everything, ranging from games to arguments. And I won't give up until I either win. There's absolutely zero hope of winning. That being said, I'm here today to talk to you all about a fear that everyone has experienced. This fear has prevented many successes, goals, and dreams. It is the fear of failure. Some people never try anything new because they cannot risk the chances of failure. And most people who have failed once never want to experience that again. So they crawl back into their comfort zones and never want to come out again. So, how do we learn to succeed if we never want to fail? The answer is you can't. The fear of failure and the passion for success cannot coexist within the same mind. My father says and always repeats, you must extinguish this fear of failure and embrace it.
Some issue. It's either behind the scenes, it's either in the work, it's in how you presented it, you didn't have the passion and the belief in it. There's one factor. If you're failing in your presentation or your creative, there's one factor, and there's fear somewhere. You have to work out where the fear is. It's the fear that the client doesn't believe you, doesn't understand the medium, doesn't know where to go, maybe losing their job from their boss. If you can find the fear in any situation and extinguish it, you can do anything. You've got to have that belief. You've got to have that belief, and you've got to look for it.
So Dad's words of wisdom. You must extinguish this fear of failure and embrace it. Now let me tell you a story. I have some experience with failure. Actually, let me rephrase that. I have a lot of experience with failure. 2 years ago in enterprise class, I came up with an idea that never quite made it out of the nest. In fact, I failed with 4 different ideas before I came up with one that truly inspired me. So, here it is, Rooster Soap. But let's backtrack for a minute, because this does have a lot of history behind it. Rooster Soap was my intended final product, but I didn't know how to make it a reality, and I needed money to make it happen. So I started another business to fundraise for Rooster Soap. Mike's Fried Chicken was my first experience of running a business, which joined the Green School community on a Friday many months ago.
fried chicken.
I'll get some.
Peace.
So, the profits began to build substantially, so I began to invest in Rooster Soap. I employed a wood carver, a silicone mold maker, a local packaging company, and of course a soap manufacturer. My first design came in the shape of brass knuckles, which was shaped in brass knuckles and targeted towards teen boys who did not like to wash, like me, and had a collectible surprise in the center of each bar. Unfortunately, samples are as far as I got with this design because there were way too many flaws. I was convinced for 1 year that this design would be successful and soon be sold to the public, but dozens of wooden prototypes had an uncomfortable grip. And when I finally made one that had a comfortable grip, which is the top left, the holes were too close to each other, so it couldn't be converted to soap, meaning that the soap would wear off too quickly. I had to scratch my idea that I worked on for a year. So I felt like a total failure. So I was at a standstill for a few months. On top of that, the only business I was successfully running was given an ultimatum that might end up shutting me down. I knew my method of cooking fried chicken was healthier than that of my competitors, and I knew that locally grown meat is part of a fully rounded diet. Yet some parents at the green school thought that my business didn't match with the ethos of the school. So long story short, I was told to make baked chicken or nothing at all. I was pretty close to motivation rock bottom at this point. On top of everything, I came to realize how much my mom and dad have done for me, and I think that disappointing them is a deeper reason for why I was so scared to fail. For half a year at the beginning of grade 12, my parents were in New York expecting me to work on this project and make them proud. Meanwhile, I was partying in places I shouldn't have been, spending half my fried chicken profits on expensive foods and drinks. With only 3 months left, I came to realize how important it was for me to start this business. I'd also bragged about Rooster Soap in my college application essay, which was imaginary at the time, so I felt this sudden urge of motivation to battle this close proximity to failure and keep experimenting until I have a tangible product on the market. The next 2 months were the most productive I'd ever been with this business. Yet at the same time, I ran into the most obstacles that both wasted my time and got me closer to my graduation deadline. Although I ran into the most problems, I learned so much in terms of soap production by constantly visiting John Marciano and asking him questions, and observing everything in his factory. With John's help, I managed to finally finish a stamp after the 8th prototype. By the way, all these failed. Anyways, with John's help, I managed to finally finish the soap and finally get it packaged. I didn't want to do this greenstone project because I was too much of a chicken to admit failure. How ironic is that? My business is called Rooster Soap, and my motto is, don't be a chicken, be a rooster. I decided to follow through with this project and soap because I realized that, and I had the need to express that failure is not so bad. So my greenstone project is about this journey that I'm on. And yes, I was supposed to be done by now. That was the greenstone plan. But I'm not quite there yet. And just last night, because I got the soap last night, I had to rethink about this journey that I'm on and reflect it. So in the end, it's okay to fail. In fact, it's liberating. I've learned countless lessons from all these obstacles I faced, and even though I've not yet reached success, I feel like I'm more prepared for life outside the roost. So I have one last thing to share with you guys. Our culture has taught us that failure is bad, that failure is unacceptable. I did research and found out in Finland, they have a national day for failure, where people openly express and share their experiences with failure. I truly believe in this holiday because it gives people the opportunity to identify their fears and extinguish them. So I challenge you all to start a Green School Day for Failure on October 13th so we can all openly discuss our experiences and be more motivated to make our dreams come true. Thank you.